Before you straight freak out about this list and you're like, but there's Harpies, Feather Duster, there's two Pankratops. Yes, this is an OCG deck list. Alright? What is up, guys? I'm Nick40 here. So I wanted to run through and talk about this OCG list. This kind of showed up, what was it, earlier today from OCG tournament results. And I was perplexed by some of the cool tech choices that we're going about this. We are heading on in to Rise of the Duelist here within the next month and a half, and players are, well, they're excited to mess around with the new Fluffle support. And I just wanted to, well, one, show a OCG deck, that way people can be like, oh, cool, and that they can also understand that you can take a concept from the OCG and adapt it on over here. Now, the first thing I want to say here, this build is not playing the True King of all Calamities. We did have a very emotional breakdown video at one point where we were talking about how True King of all Calamities was something to go on and play in here, and somebody else in my comment section was like, no, you shouldn't play that, you should play other decks that play True King of all Calamities better. It's not like you can't make the True King of all Calamities in this deck, and I'll go through that and we'll explain a little bit more of this. Now, I do want to say disclaimer here, I am not a Fluffle player. Alright, this is the perspective, something that you guys have been requesting from me. You guys want me to analyze deck list from the conceptual side of theory and how things look in terms of design and things like that, and that is something that we are going to do here. But I also want to say that Fluffles are a going second deck. Like, from somebody that has seen my friend play the deck a couple of times, I know a couple of times is not a good usage of the word there. Every time I've watched a replay of the deck, your best going second scenarios are you smash through your opponent's board and you go. Alright, now on the flip side of this, I've talked about your going first boards aren't that good. Scythe does give you a way to do that now. So during your opponent's main phase, quick effect, you can reveal this card in your hand, fusion summon one Frightfur fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field as fusion material, including this card in your hand. And then if a Frightfur fusion monster you control will be destroyed by battle card effect and banishes from your graveyard instead. I just want to point that out there because that's important. So what ends up happening here, you kind of open up with this hand trap, and then you go, all right, cool, we're gonna make the whale. So it's an Edge Imp monster plus a Fluffle monster. If this card is fusion summoned, you can destroy two cards, one on each field. Okay. And then quick effect, you can target one fusion monster you control, send one Frightfur card from deck or extra deck to the graveyard, except for whale. And if you do, the targeted monster gains attack equal to half the original attack of the other monster sent. But the thing we care about here is you basically make the Scythe, and then you bring out the whale. You have an interruption on your opponent's turn, alright? Like, you're still playing Frightfur. You're not going to be as degenerate as Dragma or things like that. But they did give this deck a means to interrupt while going second. Alright? And that's of the utmost of importance, alright? That one interruption gives you the chance to run the game on back to your side of the field. Now, in that going first scenario, I do bring up the True King of all Calamities, which is not played in this build. Remember, most of the OCG tournaments are based on more of a local level here. I also see that he is packing in the Super Poly targets here, so he's probably more worried about his one of Super Poly attempting to break the board. But I would definitely, you've got room in here you could put in the True King. But that going first board scenario, if you're strictly, your mindset is, oh, I'm going to go second all day long, I don't care, it's incorrect. You need to focus on that True King. Alright, so the biggest thing here is we have going first, we have going second rounded out at this stage in the form of your new support. Now, you did get other cute things. There are other things in here that are marked OCG. One of them being the Fluffle Dolphin. This thing lets you target a toy vendor in your graveyard. You set it back to your field, and then you get to drop an Edge Imp Chambers or a Fluffle monster from your deck to the graveyard, which is actually insanity, by the way. If this card is sent to the graveyard as material for a fusion summon, you can shuffle one polymerization spells or fusion spell that is banished, or in your graveyard into the deck. So you get recursion on top of this. This card is literally probably one of the best support cards they could have possibly printed for this deck. Basically in tandem with the wings for the free advantage that you're already generating off of the toy vendor here. Just is literally free real estate. And the biggest thing I do want to point out here, I think long-term committed players to the deck will all pretty much agree that double Fluffle Wings is probably going to be your best ratio. I know a few people were kind of pushing for... There was a little bit where the people were playing 3 of this. It is one of the best cards in your deck, but you do have to understand, especially for something like how this deck is designed here, based off of the OCG for ratios, you do have to understand that, well, unfortunately, they do have better cards. This is a good thing. Now, interesting enough here, they are playing the double Farfa in this deck. Farfa giving you the ability to spot removal something so that you can OTK. This is entirely cheese, by the way. You're like, oh, special summon the Farfa. Oh, look, spot removal on something. Or, you just mill it off the top with Toy Vendor or something like that. It's a very interesting tech choice. I don't know how well it would actually go off in terms of application, but it's definitely an interesting thing nonetheless. Standard ratios up here, you can definitely tell we're more focused on the going second, like we were saying. We've got the double Pankratops in the main deck to do that. The triple Edge Imp Chain is fine, the 1 Sabers. Now, I think 2 Scythe is going to be the way to go with this. There has been talk about people wanting to play 3, that way you can draw it and make sure, like, oh, it's in my hand if I need it going first. I do think that multiple Scythe might not be a good thing for this deck. 2 is fine, 2 ensures that we see it, but 3 is kind of pushing that really weird vibe, and inconsistency does start to happen at that point. Like I said, the Farfas are very interesting for tech choices. I don't know if this would actually pull off an application, though. Triple of the Bear, and then we just kind of straight on down here. The 1 Cat, the triple Dog, the 1 Dolphin, the 1 Fluffle Owl, the 1 Penguin, and the 2 copies of Wings. Maxing out on these in ratios does not seem bad at all. Now, tech choices to fight as metagame. We have the 1 Cosmic for back row removal. We have the 1 Foolish Barrel Goods to drop the Toy Vendor. The 1 Fry for fusion. I think most builds only play 1 to 2. I don't think you're really packing in 3 anymore. Triple Patchwork, of course. Then we have the 1 Fright for repair. So you could target 1 Fright for fusion monster in your graveyard, return it to the extra deck, and then you can special summon 1 Fluffle or Edge Imp monster from your graveyard. So you can get a monster reborn for reloading back up a material, which is good, by the way. And you can banish this card from your graveyard, special summon 1 Fluffle or Edge Imp monster from your hand. You can only use 1 Fright for repair effect once per turn. God, I wish we could do both of these. Good cards for their metagame. We also got the triple Poly, the 1 Super Poly, the triple Toy Vendor, the 2 Twin Twister, and then the 1 copy of the Fright for Vendor. Now, as far as I have known, most people were staying away from this card. This card's name becomes Toy Vendor while in the field or in the graveyard. Once per turn, you can discard 1 card to draw 1 card and reveal it. If it's an Edge Imp monster, you can destroy 1 card in the field. Otherwise, place 1 card from your hand on either the top or the bottom of your deck. This card sent to the graveyard and target 1 face monster opponent controls. This attack comes half till the end of the turn. This just kind of feels like a little empty tech choice for the deck. I get it, but it's interesting. Now, good things in the extra deck here. So we have 1 copy of the Proxy F Magician. During your main phase, you can fusion summon 1 fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your field as fusion material. If a fusion monster fusion them to a zone that this card points to, you can special summon 1 monster with 1,000 less attack from your hand. So we get an extender here with the ability to have polymerization written into our card text, which is definitely interesting for extenders for this deck. Also, that'll make it way easier to step on into the Access Code Talker. I think that's the important thing here. The Proxy Magician will make the fusion for you, and then you're able to special summon something else from your hand on into the Access Code Talker. Seems like a lot of extenders, but I get what they're going with here. We also have Baguski or Dweller, depending on where your combo is ending, which one you need for the board. Super Poly targets of Mud Dragon and Starving Venom. This seems like wasted space, like I said. The True King is probably going to be the most important thing you put in here. We have 1 Wolf, 2 whale, 1 tiger, triple saber tooth, and 2 kraken. Yeah, this seems a little bit heavy. I've seen a lot of builds with 2. Side deck is just his spell cards that I think were needed here. We have the 2 book, the 1 cosmic, and then we get to the spice here. Target 1 fusion monster on the field. Return that target to the extra deck, and if all of the fusion materials that were used for the fusion monster are in your graveyard, you can special summon all of them. Imagine a world where you've made like these giant fluffles, you're short damage, and then you reveal the defusion in your hand, and you just laugh at your opponent. This is really good when you are recombining and breaking down and using cool effects like your fusions. That way you can recombine them back together with a polymerization or something, or you just need to burst down some damage. Definitely interesting. It almost feels win more at certain points, but I like this. 2 Herald, the 2 Hatronade, the 2 Mind Control, and the triple MST. Wrapping this up. So I saw this. I figured it would be, I was curious to talk about this in terms of ratios, taking a step back here and seeing that, yes, we have Access Code Talker for beats. Yes, we have the Fortress, or the whale ratios correct. Lack of True King of All Calamities made me a little bit sad, but I guess that's the way the cookie crumbles. So what do you guys think? Please, leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. And well, guys, I'm out. Peace.
Thank you, patrons, for making the ride never truly end. Without you guys' support, well, I would probably be doing Truffle Shuffle videos for a living. Guys, please check out VanCool40 for all of your Cardfight Vanguard content brought to you by MCool40. And if you are looking to pick up singles, check out mcoolgames.com for your trading card game needs. Thanks for watching, everybody.